See a whole nother summer and it feel good. Stop now, top down through the neighborhood. Let the wind blow, open up the window. That girl is poison like Belleville DeVoe. We have a barbecue to do at 4. Swimming pool party in the back on the low. And the plates of food will be laid out for free. Little kids, get down. I have a bus pull up with Tommy the Clown to do the jerk. Go to work and do that dance that'll make your whole body hurt. Playing Bombardier, calm and clear. This that time of the year for everybody to be boisterous. Rock with Snoop Dogg and rejoice to this.
As we go on, like we do, when it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you, what you need. You need a little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Oh, yes, right. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. I wanna know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
Shined up my white walls, night falls. I'm feeling good. Doing things that you never would, like surfing with the sharks or shooting in the dark, riding on a bike with my grandson at the park. Evolve while I elevate, take flight, levitate, breakfast for dinner. I'm cold as but summer ain't the winter. Finna, bender, Kona, on a 3-wheel motion. I'm headed to the ocean, caravan full of cars, neighborhood stars, up the boulevard we go till we can't go no more. It's me and mine, it's summertime. You go off and we go on.
As we go on, like we do, when it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you, what you need, a little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Oh, yes, right. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. I wanna know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose? In your downtown. In your downtown. In your downtown.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Wanna come round there like a bad boy, do it. Want all the talk. Down, never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like yeah, storm's gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them I can't be, you see my done there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my crepes. I'll still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You weren't ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing, straight family thing. Dumb man, I broke no salary thing. Had a young thing called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie thing. Hashtag Murky Academy thing. You were like art and the gallery thing. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, I'm too hot. I got money in my shoebox. I'm the man of the house when my show sold out like the brother from the Boondocks. Beat Swan on my boombox. Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I got magic, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Mad stress, so I'm bound to like my slips. Wait, I'm bound to ride for flips. Real G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to write at this. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for a diss. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flight, get a plane to Qatar. This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth?
I come here today to talk about how I feel, and I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of us doesn't mean anything to me.
It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long, yeah. It's just no way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting no one way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom, struggling my mama on the last dollar. Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours. Really all about the money and the power. I just wanna see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you wanna make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion can't emancipate the fundamental principles. When I see through optics, transform the wisdom. Watch me use my prophets, get them on the list, and I've been on a mission. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was. Till they leave him lifeless. Another mama crying, it's another crisis. Lord knows we just trying to live right, yes. Are you willing just to make the sacrifices? I know we can't continue living like this, and I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Man, it's all a plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? It's just the way I feel.
All combine stats such as the 40-yard dash are now available in scouting. Check it out.
With these problems alone, and I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm living on restless. I said, Lord, can you help me? I've never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me?
Like the way it sounds, Frody? Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage. Two. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me dancing on the beat. Bam, bam, about to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you're around with body. And I put that in my mommy. I will never give my heart to a I can just make a dance that goes with this song. Then I'ma be on. Basic, gon' dance to it. Basic, everywhere, gon' dance to it. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, all in it. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that. I got 2 shows, I'm about to pitch another.
Each player now has a combine grade. Combine performance tells you how his speed, jumping.
Black Pippin, I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you left your fam. I lay on beaches and swerving whips. You ain't serving, you just an urban myth. Every day get ride around Queens on the jet ski, it's me. Every day get to the day I die. Every day get, man, I that. And I that bouncing up and down, nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
Look up. So many. Oh my God. So many. I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. What you telling me? I sense the jealousy, I got telepathy, I got the recipe, I got the streets and I don't got no felony. Forward thinking, yeah, my mind is ahead of me. Mama said it's gonna be whatever you let it be. It's some homies I grew up with that's dead to me. It's some that I just made a debt to me. What's in common is they both pay respect to me. I get in my way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving. No text, no call, but at airplane mode. Code, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you're living by the same code. G code, leave. You dead to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on an inner me, never on an enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life. But I cut the cut the drama out my energy. Focus on the inner me, never on the enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time, I done sacrificed my own mind, I done sacrificed the club life, I done sacrificed my love life.
Also, I done sacrificed the thug life. Hey. Diamond shining, ain't no dull light. Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about me. Come on, come see me. The devil had entered my soul, my mama had beat the dot. The devil, my mama. Remember my grandma had told me you better be somebody. Hop in my seats, massaging. Watch how I lead the posse. I made an M deposit.
Paid all these dues with the game. Yeah. Sacrifice your strides for that stain. Sacrifice. Heard you sacrifice your life for that change. Yeah. She sacrificed that money for white. Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum. We up one. Bad, dear savage. Take her to the mall and buy her some. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Yeah. Make way with the timing. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People watching, yeah, I gotta skip town, eh? Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I know my great auntie was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice she made. I could only imagine all that she had to take. I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't in vain. I sacrificed for your entertainment, boy. I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all facts. In the human race, it's all about pacing. Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end, like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice done.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
Welcome to Draft Week. All the effort you spend scouting comes down to this. Start the draft when you're ready.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime. It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in and made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami, what the it's a little yachty. No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold, made them blow the nose off the Sphinx. You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto. Brazilian model, she mean mugging like Frida Kahlo. Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto. Pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Young Vic the diamonds, finest. I shine like puff shine. Shines if I sign to the rock, cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you minors. Fresh out the cell to the booth. Drop the booth, I'm still in the hood.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
What up, club? The judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry Lee, your head ringing?
The Bears are now on the clock.
Chain swinging, this that music. You can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying. Y'all playing, we playing. My Himalayan. Gallardo, that's a sacrificial lamb. I'm
seasoned cam. No matter, blam. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world, you got chips. You could the next man's girl. Sounds harsh, but they been ripped apart my world. The way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career. So your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go foreign until it's boring. My sheep will keep jumping the fence.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I'm more Wale for Lauren. Till the world is mine like Illmatic and Lauren. Written on to a table full of fresh skin in the type of rappers we know. Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like I'm Nino.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Seem like everybody nowadays, Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show them how to act. Okay, now picture little Bobby, just a younger run around with his man's in his hand, feeling like a man. Run, put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seem like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us. A long way from equal is how they treat us. Body of a builder with the mind of a fetus. Turn on the television and see the vision they feed us. And I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know. I've been knocking dough down like it witness. God is my witness, I'm witness, but on the real I think I need another witness. If it was 17, black daddy, white mama wouldn't change a thing. Light skin, certified as a.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Go figure, in my blood is the venom master. It's like
the Redskins are now on the clock.
But he was born with the privilege.
The Titans are now on the clock.
People told me as a child, as a little boy playing with his toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap, like my great granddaddy didn't take a to the back. Not accepted by the ghetto. I don't give a praise God, I can see the light.
The Packers are now on the clock.
I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know.
The Saints are now on the clock.
People, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know. Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now.
The Saints have made their selection. For more about him, let's go to Adam Schefter.
Just when you thought his draft stock couldn't be any higher, here's a guy that goes out and puts on an absolute show in the College All-Star game, being named the game's MVP. Several GMs I spoke to cite that performance as the reason many draft experts, including Matt Miller, labeled him as the clear-cut #1 quarterback in this year's draft. He's never backed down from a challenge, and I can only imagine he's chomping at the bit to meet with the coaching staff as soon as possible to begin his NFL journey.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even and mad. We coming up, pulling up, jumping all over your grass. So tell them I got a new girl. Tell them that I'm begging, I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of
the Seahawks are now on the clock.
I need 20 models, this is smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectre deck. Getting, yeah, I gotta just get off my chest. I got less on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just skirt off. Blow the speakers and turn up. Pop up. Go to church with my shirt off. Tell the Lord that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long. I've been patient for so long. Breaking rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time. If you don't like me, take a ticket. There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long. I think
The Bills are now on the clock.
What you mean? Woo! What you mean? Woo! And now I'm just a so what you mean? Woo! Hold up, whoa, what you mean? Woo! Don't know what you think it compare me to. Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and running. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want all my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge. I want it, they gon' call the feds. I just bought it, cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah. Born in the ghetto, I never had nothing to fear. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw a iffy fit. Call up Cassie after she broke up with Diddy, yeah. I told Shorty if she talking, and she gon' call her friends up and we did, whoa. I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go fall for bridge. My black boys that knock off your lid. I thought you gon' pop off, so hop off my. What you mean? I said, what you mean? Woo! Listen, I don't trust her soul. No, I said, what you mean? Whoa. I said, what you mean? Woo! You thought I was finished, you thought it was over. You thought I retired, you thought I was fishing with Kobe. I'm still as ill as considered as one of the coldest. Still a put a partner rapper here like Moses. I'm throwback like a molar roller. I'm cooler than a cup of yogurt. Black flag boy, truck soldier.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Rap guards like Cyclops and Ogre. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told you. You think Rose still. And Bobby Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them bad gon' get. What you mean?
The Colts are now on the clock.
Yeah. Starts with a feeling, and you ride it like a wave. Crash until the sparks can come together. Don't need a reason why the universe was made. It goes on and on and on and on forever. And it's a long flight on this battle star where we fight for love no matter where we are. And there's a big bang in this universe, and it makes me feel like the gold I'm worth.
The Colts pick is in. Adam, give us the rundown.
I'm not surprised to see him taken with this pick, given he was probably one of the most dominant defensive linemen in college this season. His combination of athleticism and set of pass rush moves gave college offensive linemen fits and gave him a leg up on the rest of the competition. Pass rushers are at a premium in the NFL these days, and when someone with his talent is available, you need to take him. If his performance this season is any indication, he has the potential to be a playmaker on the defensive line for years to come.
You got me like you got me like and ooh, with all the things you do. Yeah, anything and everything
The Patriots are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock.
You got me like, ooh. You got me like, you got me like, and ooh. With all the things you do. Yeah, anything and everything a man can feel. Honey, I feel it with you. Girl, you got me like.
The 49ers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock.
You got me like, ooh. You got me like, you got me like, ooh. I'm feeling you. Yeah. You got me like, You got me like,
Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
I asked several scouts what separated him from the other players in his class, and they all pointed to his ability to quickly change directions. He ran the 3-cone drill around 6.5 seconds, the fastest time in his class. He also has the hips and footwork to turn the corner quickly without losing a lot of momentum. No matter the position, he has the kind of agility any team would love to have, and I'm sure the head coach is very pleased with this pick.
Also Allen Temple, also England Manor, also Misty Valley, and I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. And my bag from the valley bought me brand new balance. And I'm playing with a.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
She been riding since her daddy rode on boat.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go. Rick flat flashing. Don't I look dashing? Don't I look classy? Don't act so.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
That's with or without you. With what you say. Show me what that.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say lonely at the top, but this the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, barely flexing? I hear him talking practice. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say lonely at the top, but this the best.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He's a very athletic defensive back, but if you watch his combine tape, you'll see why he's on defense and not a receiver. During the pass reaction drills at Indy, he had a hard time hauling in any of the passes thrown his way. Some passes he bobbled, some passes he missed by a fingertip, and at least one pass he flat dropped. He may be able to make a play on the ball with his agility, but I don't think he has the playmaking ability some teams want in their defensive backs. It'll be interesting to see how soon he gets on the field for this team early in the season.
Y'all can't get y'all ball back. If I ain't a hot boy, then what do you call sacks? Daddy fact, y'all never ball back. Like clocks in the wintertime, we stay eating like it's dinner time. Been feasting and feasting and feast big, but it ain't no rhyme. We don't know the meaning of drought, cause we keep it so wet, why swear now, it's been a while.
Adam Schefter with the inside scoop on Watson. Elementary?
He's a durable lineman who set a team record for consecutive starts, never missing a game throughout a decorated 4-year college career. Ross Tucker praised his footwork leading up to the combine, where he did not disappoint, solidifying his position as the draft's top offensive line prospect. He has the potential to be the cornerstone of this offensive line for years to come and should provide consistent protection for a franchise quarterback. This is a great pick.
I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top. This the best. And even if we die today, don't live forever. Live forever.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go slow, back my logo, for show, Coco. Get down on the. Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go slow, back my logo, for show, Coco. Now get down on it.
Man, too broke to pay attention. Man. Yeah. Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. That's it. A couple million make you stand different. Hey. They drop the ball and so.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. You dig? A couple million make you stand different. I am. They drop the ball and so I ran with the game is friendless. The pain is endless. The game changed.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
There are some experts who are ready to dismiss his high production in college since he never faced a top-tier defensive back. So finally, at the All-Star game, he was matched against one of the top defenders in the draft, and he came away looking very good. He was tightly covered all day, but that didn't stop him from hauling in several impressive catches. He solidified his position in the draft with that game, and now that he's been drafted, his new quarterback has to be excited to work with him in training camp.
Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. You dig? A couple million make you stand different. I am. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. Where I come from, you can't visit. I talk money, I guess you understand different. Hand gestures count until my hands blister. You can't miss us louder than Fran Drescher. Pinky rings, hand kisses, soprano. I feel like Paulie Castellano in designer stitches. I heard him say I made Rihanna. Mind your business, what kind of honor is this? I'm trying to see Madonna, all kind of riches. In Miami, dining with the finest. Everybody acting kind of vicious. These politicians won't let my brother visit. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. That's it. A couple million make you stand different. Hey. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. You dig? A couple million make you stand different. I am. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. He's a fake baller, globe trotter, bank account $4. No comma, I know you wanna pop collars. I know you wanna pop collar. Top dollar, pull up in that top dollar. Yeah. She got that top dollar. Yeah. Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. That's it. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. You dig? A couple million make you stand different. I am. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it.
That's it.
Rather you than me. If you've been with me from Port of Miami, it's been a journey. Ain't nothing changed. A little stronger, a little wiser. Maybe a little more. Blame it on America. I'm pulling off the lot, I bought the cash. Her future bright, don't give nobody bad. Be looking good inside the but I noticed that she missing all the edges. I run the game just by running with the poor attitude.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Walking in the courtroom, sipping on the beverage. I know the judge, so I got...
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Lions' latest pick.
The old saying of "what have you done for me lately" could be used to explain his rapid rise in draft value. After a late-season performance that saw him make several key blocks leading to scores, sources said that many scouts were willing to overlook otherwise average statistics leading up to his final game. NFL expert Ross Tucker felt that his upside far outweighs any concerns that he's a one-hit wonder. Tucker raved about his natural footwork that he called a quote-unquote gift for someone his size. Patience may be needed to help him grow into his full potential, but this team feels as if it has bolstered its offensive line with this big pick.
Dead president, dead president.
I got that like Tommy Lee. I make money. On my third passport, and I got at the airport. I got bowling green dollars on my dollars. Busting down 100.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Get some house shoes. I got money. I got war wounds. Get the cushion on that. Ain't no dance moves. I was posted on the stoop, hanging with my Haitians. On the news, on front pages. Ain't no relations. I was stacking being Franks and Boston. 2 times in a row, that's a repeat.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
He was one of the most dominant pass rushers in college football last year, getting everyone's attention after netting over 20 sacks and setting a new school record. He started seeing double teams at the line midway through the season, and that still didn't stop him from getting to the quarterback. Scouts all agree that he is a rare combination of strength and burst off the line that make him a threat on almost every play. He's a real difference maker for a defense, and he should be a starter for this defensive line in no time.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president. Hands on me, got the yellow brace. Check off in my pocket like the yellow paste. Was what I was asking. Low facility, I keep it classy. Build an empire, yeah, that was my state of mind.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
State of mind. Keep the blocks over there, we call it Lego Land. Meanwhile, it's like it's Amsterdam. Boy, fresh, you know who got the tropes. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like a...
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
The importance of a lockdown pass defender cannot be emphasized enough, and that's exactly what every GM I talked to described him as. His ability to play physical and to outwork his opposition off the line have also been areas of high praise on his journey to the draft. This skill set could be seen in numerous games this year where he completely shut down some of this draft's top-rated wide receivers. When you're tasked with neutralizing an opponent's #1 wideout each week, there's a great deal of responsibility to ensure you're not just physically ready, but also mentally ready. This is another important trait the GMs I spoke with mentioned to me that made them so excited about this guy. The hope is that he will quickly learn the playbook, get some solid reps in the preseason, and come week 1, be ready to play.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Like a ripcord, break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, word upon your lip, rather that you rip, break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes.
The Browns are now on the clock.
I was hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible. my years like a martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Son, I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse, pull me like a ripcord, break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, word upon your lip, rather that you rip, break me.
Cardinals are off the clock now. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
While he showed potential in school, he turned in one of the weakest performances of the defensive linemen at the All-Star game. Anytime he was on the field, they lost the battle in the trenches, giving up rushing yards and giving the quarterback plenty of time in the pocket. Matt Miller told me he got stood up by any offensive lineman he was matched against, and struggling to get off the block removed him from a lot of plays. He needs to develop some moves if he's going to get by blockers. You can't just rely on strength alone anymore, especially not in the NFL.
Parenthetical, hypothetical, working on to something that I'm proud of. Out of the box, an epoxy to the world and the vision we've lost. I'm an apostrophe. I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe. And yet
the Giants are now on the clock.
Deceased, and when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily, and leave the body of my soul to be a part of it. I do what it takes, whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes, 'cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes.
The Browns are now on the clock.
I do what it takes.
The 49ers are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock.
I'm a running man, sandals slipping off my feet on the sand, counting up the bills with my dog.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Take this, appreciate it. This too. If I tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my G.I. Joe present. I've yet to see a Cobra. So off my rocker got me sipping club soda. Some bombs never go off, some stars never blow up. I'm pitching in, never in the dugout. Reaching in my and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking run down. Now I set foot in the place, it's a luau. Killing like 10 counts, y'all know how we get down. House with the fence around, y'all know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now
the Colts are now on the clock.
Getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there, I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care, so I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day, what the no tuck. Sway Lee, Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on, dipped in colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man, seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in, it all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a 10. I'm coming clean though, I mean not a spec. My girl be serving looks, I can the chef. Katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain. We getting to the money and you having issues. I bought a and it came with a wetsuit.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
I'm a mess. I'm mooching off myself. She be hoping that I take a knee. Yes, I be open to that shrimp life. This is how we live. This is how we exist. Love the kicks and we love the hits. All in the house and I'm wrecking. If I sleep, I'm a wrecking. I'm in my own world. Throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing tether on leather. Money talk, it's a lecture. 80 pointers dance on me. It's electric. Don't hate, I'm still unaffected. Chipper on my shoulder, I move undetected. She said, pop the question got deflected. Man, that made my boys, then my brethren. Let's cut to the chase. It's only on the house when we in the place. My used to lava boys got it up in some flames. Stirring up the cup with my wrist.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
With my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain. We bring it to your door like you rang. Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang. With the Fendi belt, angry face like put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestrings. Long time no see, that's what they say when they see me, man. I've been going crazy.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Who's to blame? Young whippersnapper with the range. Pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage. And on me, you should get a raise.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah. Young Gerald. Yeah. Yeah.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Yeah. Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Yeah. Lead a club with a few now. Just some Hollywood and they do. I'm in the mood now. 2 a.m. What you wanna do now? What you wanna do now? Little baby pass. Don't spill on me, that's Margella. Got this Oakland.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Familiar. Coachella, what's her name? Isabella, forget it. Yeah. It's like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna function, got some places we could go. Lockjaw got me speaking slow like, yeah, I'm blessed. I don't GA. I'm tryna, yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less. Yeah. Say less. Hey girl, what it do? If you got friends, cool, bring a few through. No fun if the homies now R.I.P. Nate Dogg, this too true. And you know what I'm down for. Round 2, round 3, and a round 4. Mood switch when she knocked at the front door. Next up was the uproar. Yeah. Was like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna tuck off, got some places we could go. Swear she got the like wow, she's blessed, I'm blessed. I don't GA. You tryna yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Sheesh. What you saying? I don't understand. I'm out my mind. I popped.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Got me stuttering.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Forget. Sheesh. Get it. My favorite rush. You talkative, ain't gotta say too much. Be quiet. Who got some grapes? I'm trying.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Raiders' newest player?
One of this draft's toughest players. Here's a guy who played the majority of his final collegiate season with a broken foot. Long suffering with plantar fasciitis in the affected foot, doctors discovered several hairline fractures across the first, second, and third metatarsals during a routine therapy session. Translation? His foot was essentially shattered. Recovery took months, and he used the time wisely, studying film of just about every NFL team and preparing for interviews. No surprise that he blew scouts and even a few GMs away with his knowledge of NFL offensive schemes. This is an intelligent, hard-nosed defensive back who's going to make his fair share of big plays before his professional career is over.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Y'all been since my early days. I've been stuck in my worldly ways. Propaganda, press, pan the camera. Please don't look at me in my face. Everybody might see my pain. Off the rail, might myself. Bored with life as aboard this plane. Steward this sex if I need help. Maybe what's your last name? Hopefully it still ain't been changed. Something about you make me not doubt your aqua silence. My brain scream louder. Asking when I'm gon' myself. Couple problems, my cash ain't help. Human issues too strong for tissue. False provider, war masked by wealth. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. I'll decide I'm out of my
The Saints are now on the clock.
the vibrations is all I need. All I need, all I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do. Deja vu from a bayside view. I see black cats in the day.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Time news when handcuffed, wrist and his skin turned blue. I met God once at the rendezvous and felt starstruck.
Vince, the car's outside.
Got things to do, got to make my moves. I can't miss.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Class seats is over.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Payers nowadays.
The Bills are now on the clock.
They well acquainted. Their morning is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
If you came here to party, if not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. Out the sight, I'm out in my mind. The sound of sunshine is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I need, all I need. Party people, yeah.
The Colts are now on the clock.
I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Got a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me stare like second nature. Says disappear like second nature. On the same block like an hour later. Whole team eating but it's only right. There's a spare plate but you're the phony type. J-Hut's ugly in it, baby 1 minute. You're looking wicked. Hey yo, I started off gentle, my stroke game mental, my lifestyle eventful. I didn't mean to offend you. Fendi belt saying I style like I'm mental. Moving wild and mental. I made another 5 this week. Your money playing hide and seek. I don't even like to speak. I just tell him high and by. Slide up automatic high and die. High and die. Doing styles on them like it's
The 49ers are now on the clock.
like it's common sense. Got a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money head.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me sad like second nature. Said you're gonna do it, yeah, I haven't did it. I'm handling it, handy with it. Think I'ma do it, let that.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Jam like what happened to it. Was it not working, bruv? Why you think I'm lurking, bruv? Creep on him, lean on him. Witnesses eavesdropping, keep popping. They keep bopping like I ain't seen nothing. Don't make me upset. Reach for an object. Who's that in the passenger? Brown skin, got big body. In my face, on me. Money me, I got that for me. You're not popping, never pop nothing, stop bluffing. Your opinion, always destined for brilliance. Wouldn't rest on a million, dressed as civilians. All them masked up looking creepy. Park up, jump out, jump in. Skirt out like it's too easy. If anybody else didn't see me, doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me stare like it's second nature.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock.
All the types.
A king is born. I told you before. A king is born. Now I told you before. A king is born.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Oh yeah. No. Like a beast in the jungle, in the heat of the rumble, I ain't got nothing to lose. Hey, I've been fighting these hard times in the ghettos of my mind. Now it's victory that I choose. Hey, yes, my soul is blessed, the king is born. Mama, I confess I'm a bad, bad man. Ain't no one like me.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and throne is destined.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
Like a bull in a glass house, no bull about to smash out. Can't nothing stand in my way. I don't care what the place is, from the penthouse to pavement. You better hear what I say. Hey, yeah. Yes, my soul is blessed, the king is born. Mama, I confess I'm a bad, bad man. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and throne is destined. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. King is born. Yeah, I told you before.
49ers pick is in. Adam, give us the lowdown on Bullock.
I'll tell you, everyone was talking about him after the Combine, and not exactly for the best of reasons. He was called out almost unanimously as one of the worst interviews at Indy. I spoke with a few of the scouts who sat down with him, and the common remarks I heard was that he was slow to respond, had very little to say, and definitely had his periods of awkward silence. Fortunately for him, how he plays is looked at more than how he talks. I think the team found a good player, even if he is lacking a little charisma.
Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and throne is destined. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. King is born.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I go out for my squad and I put that on. Squad? All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad? Yeah.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Go extra high for my entourage. Check my repertoire. Jim Jones, everywhere I go, you know it's reppin' time. It's reppin' time. When Latifah ready, when he set it off, he set it off. If they sleeping on me, I'ma wake them up. They fakers. I really do. I'm kicking up, the rent is due. Plus I got my mama and my kiddies too. They growing up. Time is moving faster. What we wasting for? No holding back. Got a lot to prove. I owe you that we all we got. I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Look at you different when you moving forward.
The Bears are now on the clock.
But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad. I've been reflecting on how we got this far, even when the pressure's on, finessing strong. Plus I got
the Bears are now on the clock.
No extra bros, you can keep them. Giuseppe's on delusional. Who gon' be there for you if you lose it all? Question that, who gon' have your mama back? Think about it, it's so much more to life, take advantage. We gon' get this money, stack this paper, and be alright. We gon' run it.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad.
The Chargers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock.
Ting ting, hear the sound. Oh, are you listening? Oh, you gotta hit the ground. Ain't no chain gonna hold me down. Dig deep, feel the burn. I've got a calling, so I should.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Him saying, this is who I am. I know you ain't there yet.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
Boom, boom, can you feel the flame? Hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? No, don't let it bring you down. Look up and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh, yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit flow. I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Well, wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
Got a cold when my dogs can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man, amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll when I roll, must be. Amen.
The Bears are now on the clock.
I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast, I gotta eat. Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peek? I was outside. The way that.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
You need to say grace for you say thanks.
Amen. Amen. What's left in my life, don't know what's in store. I've been dealing with these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers, we ain't keeping score. Amen. Amen. I here on the block, my side. Run it in the house for us 12 o'clock. Yeah, the hood love me, but you gotta watch. Amen. Amen.
I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, tryna see movie. Yeah, we gon' fall through, coming through deep.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross, threw it on my neck. Yeah, when I rep the set, gotta stay blessed. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a cold when my dogs can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Everybody trying to take the identity. Everybody around me turn to a friend of me. Sit back while I take on the remedy. I cannot let it get into me. This playing a toll on me, meant to me.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's worth.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
For my mother, deal with my brothers. Keep it real. Don't talk with no. Plus I duck undercover. Got us.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Vision is endless.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
They gon' serve me a sentence, but now I'm up in
the Broncos are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
About opinions, I'm just minding my business. If I'm grinding, I'm shining. Don't got time for the gimmicks. I'm it. Squad. 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 I'm it. Squad.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Everybody got.
The Browns are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Finish, y'all. Block of diamonds. I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness. I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Browns' latest pick.
He's a gifted tight end who had scouts buzzing to begin the season. Just as the hype surrounding him was hitting an all-time high, he was plagued by a series of critical fumbles, leaving draft experts wondering what went wrong. Sources tell me that after the season ended, he began working with a sports psychologist to help curb the fumbling issues. He performed well at both his pro day and at the combine, but has yet to demonstrate his grip on the ball after contact. Clearly, this is a team that feels the fumbling issues are behind him and are confident his upside far outweighs any of the potential risk.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah.
Cause, but I still low. Got 100 different to my cell phone. Still 33 for low. I'ma ride to my dog sitting in jail. It's that lighter on the grass, spin it back, roll. I'm on Keller, I'm on special, I'm on flat, show. I'm at Magic, I'm at Bally's, let them go.
The Titans are now on the clock.
When I'm low, bars never close and we wide open. Kicking flavor with me, neighbor, yeah, we local. Rap the bottom cause
The Jets are now on the clock.
Need no pray for little paper, need a love.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Real spill, yeah, I'd rather be, yeah.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Fall in love with her, she just wanna be VIP with
The Jets are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same, man.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Dirty soda, treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid.
The Colts are now on the clock.
From the cradle to the grave, yeah.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
On my block, yeah. On my, I won't stop, yeah. Play with me, I'll let it, yeah. Halo on me, Saint Laurent, yeah. Got me with the school, yeah. Keep one, move, yeah. You my little baby boo, yeah. I love you like my favorite color blue, girl. Real spill, yeah. I'd rather be, yeah. Broke, real, still rich. Fall in love with her. She just wanna be a VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shame me. Had to get it how I got it on my phone to be. Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same, man.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty soda, treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Rolling from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock.
I've been rolling on the freeway.
The Texans are now on the clock.
I've been thinking, wait,
The Titans are now on the clock.
you gonna drive? I got anger in my chest. I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture. picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
LOV on my right leg, that's Gucci. Hear what I'm saying? LOV on
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Caught a little jet lag, but I'm golden. Yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Whammies, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I gotta accept that I'm a I pull up in several different options. That I but most of them. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
I've been rolling on the freeway. I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest. I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe. I've been rolling on
The Steelers are now on the clock.
85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest. I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this creek alone is on me, baby. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard, yeah. I pop in your memory. You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a I pull up in several different options. That I but most of them. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. What? Gotta be on the thinker. I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon'
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
I feel like I should be giving up. You can't leave it, it's too much. But I'm tired of you, me on. And I don't like where this is going. And I've been stuck in all your apologies. Gave my all, but you wanted more from me. Keep your love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear my name.
Montana.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pig?
Man.
The Raiders are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
Come and talk to me.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock.
Let it go for me. I bring them things.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Bring them things. Mucho. I bring them things. Looking so expensive. Rings and things.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Bring them things.
The Saints are now on the clock.
I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be for that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000. This ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Made for poodles. I'm thinking about the LaFerrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Dreams is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Y'all be vaping.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Y'all be aping. I'm rich.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things. I call them. Bring them things, mucho. I bring them things, looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Here's a little story about it.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock.
Raindrop, offset, plug, we the out.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
I'm in the box off, all the bass shorty, socks off.
The Texans are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
White villa, French vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hill, get up. Crib Calabasas on the hill. I had him morning, plate. Beatles on the red carpet. Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homies rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
So expensive, rings and things.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock.
I bring them things.
Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Put my problems in.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
When the checks come,
The 49ers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock.
all the talking never.
The Rams are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
They talking like they.
The Bears are now on the clock.
I still treat them like so.
The Chargers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock.
Every day, pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got
The Titans are now on the clock.
I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles for my exes now. Ain't no fingers, let the count my blessing now. Promises and wishes, trust me, it's been different now. No rings for the things, I go missing now. Promises.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Would I ever start celebrating? Would I ever?
The Saints are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
Showers on the way.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
5 hours every day.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
In the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell.
The Texans are now on the clock.
I still wish it
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
well, yeah.
The Patriots are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock.
King Muff, busting down the whole.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Bunch of people swag. Ain't even gotta ask. What are those? What is that? Please don't touch my rag. Please don't
touch my rap.
I'm racked up like rappers. I'm wrapped up on camera. Get out on camera. Squeeze like asthma. It's rare wrath when I wear wrath. Bear wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit. Look, still shit wrath.
And I'm dripping on rag.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the Chris Van Nash. Alessandra Gucci glasses. The W Anderson collab. Yeah, you probably like it. Yeah, you drop it on the. I'ma buy another.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Yeah, you know how to make it.
The Rams are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
Quavo hit him with it. Please don't touch my rap.
Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet is worth about $1 million. To the little out the runway. In the kitchen. Ralph Simmons. All kind of crazy colors. Living colors. Left wrist. Roll it. Ice. Mason Margiela, my sweater. Mama told me never settle.
Now let's take a minute to see how you can improve your team.
Huh? What? Don't wanna talk about the paper. I swear to God, these be haters. They be hating, I feel out of. Live in cul-de-sac, don't get along. Ooh, right with my neighbors. Diamonds on my neck and roll it on. Now I later got underbit flavors. I'm with my lifesaver. Ooh, feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Ooh, right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad. Color Uzi, yeah, he made it. Yeah, I would that rapper, I made it. Yeah, I would that rapper, I made it. Yeah, got that rap all in my basement. Yeah, once I got patience. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah.